as it's always been. Let's find out why, and also let's find out what we can do about it. Tonight on Insight, we'll be covering that. But for now, on the Daily Report, let's have a look at what's happening in your world. For now, the highlights. Tonight on the Daily Report, we reveal more details of what has been touted as the deal between President William Ruto and Azimio leader Raila Odinga, and how a section of their allies are receiving it.
Our president is ready to engage with any Kenyan, hata Raila Odinga ukitaka rais.
Drama and war of words dominates Parliament's discussion on police action during opposition protests.
Helpless and armed citizens who are going about exercising their right under Article 37 of the Constitution.
There has been a militia that has been used in these riots.
As the president maintains, the police did a great job to quell the protests. And still tonight, in our special segment, Insight Tonight, we look at the correlation between climate change and the state of security in the country and measures that can be taken to deal with it. Good evening and welcome to the Daily Report with me, Victor Muyakane. It's been an absolute pleasure beginning this journey with you at the home of Untold Stories TV 47. Before we begin our bulletin tonight, I'd like to invite you to join me to conversate with me, if you may, through the avenues that we have in store for you. The SMS line is 22047. Our Twitter handle is @TV47News. My personal Twitter handle is @Muyakane. I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to hear what you have to say on the subject matter tonight. We're looking at climate change and just how it affects security, among other things. We're looking at all of that. Let us know what you think concerning that. We'll also be seeking to hear from you about the stories that we have for you this evening, and among them, politics of the day, security matters of the day, sports, and news from your world. Good evening. Once again, my name is Victor Muyakane, and we begin with our first story. Today, in Parliament, we had a rather boisterous discussion that ended up sometimes with words being traded back and forth by leaders from the two political factions. Let's have a look at what happened, because there was a standoff in Parliament this afternoon after Kenya Kwanza and opposition MPs differed on police action during last week's protests. This as leaders aligned to the Azimio la Umoja section now want Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki to shoulder all the blame for what happened. Now, this due to Kenyans, of course, being killed by police, rather allegedly killed by police during the anti-government demos. This promising to continue with the demos, the leaders of Azimio said that President William Ruto's government has no otherwise but to listen to Kenyans. Let's have a look at what happened in Parliament.
When it comes to business, you may get the urge to quit due to lack of satisfaction, passion, or even finances. Well, this week we speak to JB, the owner of 254 Brows and Lashes Studios, who got to quit his job a couple of times before getting his footing in the beauty industry. Monday, 6:30 p.m.
Let Kids on the Block take you to the most fantastic place on television. Where anything can happen.
Today I have an interesting story about the lion and the mouse. Today we are going to prepare mug cake.
We are having Hilda. We're going to be making this worm and it's a bookmark.
Catch Kids on the Block every Saturday at 9 a.m.
Radio 47 tuko nawe mchana kutwa na usiku kucha.
The news that matters the most is the one that hits close to home. When disasters strike, we are there to inform you. When the bullets are flying, we tell you who's shooting and why. Reporting on your victories, your health, your money, your security, your past, present, and future. We are interested in telling the stories of creativity, hard work, and resilience that you are known for. That is our job. This is my job. My name is Victor Muyakane, and it's my honor to bring you this news this way every Thursday night on the home of Untold Stories.
Katika majengo haya, hapa ndipo sheria zinapotungwa na zinapopakuliwa. Nitakuletea viongozi mbalimbali, mirengo mbalimbali, wote kwa pamoja wakipika na kupakua. Tutawapa nafasi kuweza kuangazia changamoto na mafanikio ya ugatuzi katika ukumbi wa siasa kila siku ya Jumanne kuanzia saa 1 kamili na kuendelea.
Toka eneo hili la Naivasha kwenye kaunti 032, gatuzi la Nakuru.
Kutoka kaunti ya Elgeyo Marakwet, kaunti 028.
Nikiripotia runinga ya TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Wajir.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Turukana. Kwa matukio yote yanayojiri katika kaunti hii 012.
Kutoka kaunti nambari 1, kaunti ya Mombasa.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Lamu.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka Kisii County.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Machakos.
Kutoka kaunti hii ya Trans Nzoia.
Kaunti 038.
Kutoka gatuzi nambari 029, kaunti ya Nandi, chemichemi ya mabingwa.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Kakamega.
Nitakuwa nikiripotia runinga ya TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Bungoma.
Jina langu ni Paula Munio.
Willy Dennis Jiru.
Fabian Kibet.
Mimi ni Hashim Jimal.
Mimi ni Kitio Mika Masai.
John Javakiania.
Jina langu ni Abdulaziz Nameka.
Mimi ni
Good evening. Welcome back to the Daily Report with me, Victor Muyakane. We would like to apologize because we've had a few technical challenges, but we're back. That's what's important, and thank you for choosing to stay with us. On to our first story tonight. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has warned that the government will crack the whip against non-performing government officials. Speaking during the official launch of the Ministry of Environment 2023 to 2027 strategic plan, Prime Minister Musalia Mudavadi, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi says that the Kenya Kwanza government will not spare any effort in ensuring it delivers its manifesto to Kenyans. Let's have a look.
Barely a year since the swearing in of a new cabinet, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi now says there could be some who have not lived up to the Kenya Kwanza plan to fulfill the pledges made during campaigns. Speaking during the official launch of the Ministry of Environment 2023-2027 strategic plan, Musalia Mudavadi hinted at looming changes in the persons holding various cabinet posts, saying that it won't be business as usual.
If you are not ready to better the lives of fellow Kenyans, we will not retain you against your will.
In line with this directive, Environment, Climate Change and Forestry Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuye has expressed her commitment in ensuring that the objectives of her ministry are implemented to the letter. CS Tuya has went bare knuckles to the critics of the government over the recent move by President Ruto to lift the logging ban, saying that there are more benefit harbored in the lift than it is negatively perceived to be.
The Kenya Forest Service, you are in every part of this country. You need to go out and explain to Kenyans what the commercial forestry aspects of our sustainable ecosystem restoration is all about.
As climate change remains to be a point of concern in both the local and international spheres, Prime Cabinet Secretary Mudavadi has noted that the issues of finance will be addressed so as to put Kenya in a better place to fight climate change.
We need to make a deliberate effort and set funds aside, made available, so that the issue around Dandora can be dealt with.
The Ministry of Environment has now committed itself into a 5-year working plan, but it then needs your collaboration as a citizen to ensure the plan comes into a success. Jackson Chacha, TV47.
Right, that was the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, perhaps speaking in attention, rather calling his government to attention on performance on service delivery. We shall be watching that story and bringing it to you as soon as anything develops to that extent. But in that story, one of the things that came up is climate change, and that's our subject of discussion tonight on Insight. I'd like you to talk to us. 2047 is the SMS line, at TV47 News, at Muyakane on Twitter. Let us know what you have to say. Now, the Ministry of Interior has announced resumption of services in the e-Citizen platform after days of downtime of the crucial platform, which provides over 5,000 services in the country, stating that there was no infiltration of Kenyans' data in the so-called hacking attempt.
For the better part of Thursday afternoon, Kenyans could not access over 5,000 government services on the e-Citizen platform. The downtime being experienced on the e-Citizen portal was caused by hackers attempting to jam the portal through an overload of data requests. The hack, confirmed by ICT CS Elid Owalo, was allegedly conducted by hacker group known as Anonymous Sudan. The CS quick to assure Kenyans that there was no data harvesting and that their information is safe. Sentiments echoed by National Assembly ICT Chair John Kiare.
Denial of services, na niwahakikishie Wakenya kwamba hakuna sababu yoyote ya kuweza kupapatika ama kuwa na alarm kwa wakati huu, kwa sababu serikali imeweza kuhusika vilivyo. Na katika dunia hii mpya, cyber attack ama uvamizi huu wa kidijitali utazidi kuonekana. Kilicho cha muhimu ni jinsi ambavyo tunajikinga binafsi, idara zinajikinga na serikali inavyochukua jukumu.
The kind of hacking experienced on the e-Citizen portal is known as Distributed Denial of Services (DDoS) attack, which disrupts a network server or website by flooding it with meaningless internet traffic to prevent legitimate users from accessing services. As of now, the Ministry of Interior has announced a resumption of critical services at the portal. The hack also affected financial system, which saw Kenyans experience downtime in sending and receiving money, forcing many to troop to banks to access.
You remember that certain clauses of this act have been suspended by the judiciary, And we are asking the judiciary to, as they are making their proclamation and as they are making their laws, we are humbly asking them to also consider public interest so that we do not run into situations that could be perilous to citizens just because there is grandstanding between the different arms of government.
Other services affected include the visa services, with Foreign Affairs Ministry announcing that it would grant visas on arrival for all travelers after an online application platform collapsed, making government services inaccessible. The government now says it has launched a serious manhunt for the hackers whose whereabouts remain unknown. Elizabeth Mutuko, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, on that note, we take a short break. When we come back, we'll bring you more news, as well as the discussion we've been talking about on climate change and security, and particularly how it affects you. My name is Victor Muyakane. Talk to me on Twitter, @Muyakane, at TV47 News, and 2047 on SMS tonight. Let us know what you think, your views and reviews on the news. We'll be right back. The news that matters the most is the one that hits close to home. When disasters strike, we are there to inform you. When the bullets are flying, we tell you who's shooting and why. Reporting on your victories, your health, your money, your security, your past, present, and future. We are interested in telling the stories of creativity, hard work, and resilience that you are known for. That is our job. This is my job. My name is Victor Muyakane, and it's my honor to bring you this news this way every Thursday night on the home of untold stories.
Katika majengo haya, hapa ndipo sheria zinapotungwa na zinapopakuliwa. Nitakuletea viongozi mbalimbali, mirengo mbalimbali, wote kwa pamoja wakipika na kupakua. Tutawapa nafasi kuweza kuangazia changamoto na mafanikio ya ugatuzi katika ukumbi wa siasa kila siku ya Jumanne kuanzia saa 1 kamili na kuendelea.
Toka eneo hili la Naivasha kwenye kaunti 032, gatuzi la Nakuru.
Kutoka kaunti ya Elgeyo Marakwet, kaunti 028.
Nikiripotia runinga ya TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Wajir.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Turkana. Kwa matukio yote yanayojiri katika kaunti hii 0.
Welcome back to the Daily Report and Insight tonight. Now, here's a story that you no doubt have an interest in. There was a standoff in Parliament this afternoon after Kenya Kwanza and opposition MPs differed on police action during last week's protests. This as leaders aligned to the Azimio la Umoja coalition now want Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki to shoulder all the blame due to Kenyans reportedly being killed by police during the anti-government demos, promising to continue with the demos. The leaders said that President William Ruto's government has no otherwise but to listen to Kenyans.
After calling off demos planned for Wednesday, Azimio leaders says Interior CS Kithure Kindiki should be held responsible for 30 people who died during last week's protests.
And it is okay for you to disrespect me, to disrespect even Raila Odinga, but don't disrespect the people. Just listen to the people. The people are saying, we in Azimio are not the problem. This young man who was shot here, was not a looter, he was not a thief. He was going about his business peacefully.
Nairobi County Senator and ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna speaking during a visit to Raphael Shigali's family. A boxer allegedly shot by police during Azimio protests claimed Kindiki ordered police officers to act as journalists so as to corner protesters.
This juvenile excitement by people in high offices, because today you think you are the one ordering the police, you feel like you are the most powerful man. I have said it and I will repeat here. They will not be in office forever. And the universe will give back as much as they are putting into the universe.
Watu ambao wamekufa wote walipigwa risasi, wako na majeraha ya risasi. Na walipigwa kwa mgongo. Inamaanisha kwamba walikuwa na toroka.
According to Sifuna, President William Ruto, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and Interior CS Kindiki should pay to remain in office permanently or risk being held accountable for wrongs committed against others. The president, while on a tour of coastal region, maintained his support for the officers, who he says did their best to protect lives and property.
Your time is up.
And in the National Assembly, the afternoon debate was temporarily halted after the MPs started shouting at each other while debating a special motion regarding alleged police brutality during anti-government protests. It all started after Kisumu West MP Rosa Boyle had moved a motion of adjournment regarding reported police brutality in various parts of the country.
It is against this background that I seek leave for adjournment of the House to discuss this matter of great national concern with a view to exploring possible and lasting solutions to this unjustified contravention of the law.
The debate took a political angle as the Kenya Kwanza Alliance lawmakers opposed the motion while those on the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party proposed.
You cannot accuse helpless and armed citizens who are going about exercising their right under Article 37 of the Constitution and who, having been provoked by water cannons.
As we are discussing how many people are killed, even a policeman is a person, and he doesn't deserve also to be killed.
There has been a militia that has been used in these riots that have purported to be demonstrations.
Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party supported the motion. Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah denouncing the organizers, who he claimed were leaders from the Luo Nyanza region. A section of legislators drawn from Kenya Kwanza side were in defense of police conduct during the protests.
Madam Speaker, it is also a fact that we have seen on TV police officers being chased by this motion, Madam Speaker. This motion has been brought here to serve two purposes.
And Madam Speaker, I would want to urge the police of Kenya to take charge, dismantle this criminal network.
Azimio will conduct a requiem mass for the departed Friday. Mike Kagwango, TV 47, Nairobi.
Tonight, the Kenya Kwanza Coalition has said it will not be coerced into a handshake through bloodshed by the Azimio Coalition's anti-government protests. The tough stance by the majority leader in the National Assembly, Kimani Ichung'wah, came as Azimio leader Raila Odinga's allies premised the anticipated handshake or power-sharing deal on the repeal of the Finance Act. This amid reports that a new deal between President Ruto and Raila Odinga on power-sharing has been struck.
Amid a looming power-sharing deal between President William Ruto and Azimio leader Raila Odinga, expected to be finalized this coming Sunday or Monday, and reports of a reshuffle across government ministries to accommodate the expected changes, President Ruto and Odinga's troops continued to trade harsh words in public on Thursday, dismissing claims of a handshake between the two sides, with Majority Leader in the National Assembly Kimani Ichung'wah firing at Azimio for using bloodshed in the recent protests to negotiate for a power-sharing deal.
Our president is ready to engage with any Kenyan
more for you. 22047, beg your pardon, is our SMS line at TV47 News, on Twitter at Muyakane. Please let us know what you think about the stories that we've aired so far and what's happening in your world. We'll be right back.
Katika majengo haya, hapa ndipo sheria zinapotungwa na zinapopakuliwa. Nitakuletea viongozi mbalimbali, mirengo mbalimbali, wote kwa pamoja wakipika na kupakua. Tutawapa nafasi kuweza kuangazia changamoto na mafanikio ya ugatuzi katika ukumbi wa siasa kila siku ya Jumanne kuanzia saa 1 kamili na kuendelea.
Imagine with 200 bob only, you can be your own landlord. Yes, everyone now has an opportunity to become a homeowner through Boma Yangu. Start saving any amount towards the 10% deposit required for unit allocation. Register through *832# or log in through www.bomayangu.go.ke and deposit 200 shillings as the registration fee and as the initiation deposit. Dial *832# and take advantage of this opportunity. Boma Yangu is a government affordable housing program.
Do you want to advertise your business or product and you are on a budget? Then Marquee Africa is the site for you. To advertise, upload a picture or video clip of your business or product and let the clicks get you clients. Get 4,000 clicks for as low as 1,000 bob. Get the app on the Google Play Store or iOS App Store or visit the website www.marquee.africa. Terms and conditions apply.
Wanasema wasemao kuwa elimu ni bahari haiishi kwa kuchotwa. Wakati mwingi natangamana na wanafunzi madarasani, sio kama mwalimu bali kama nahodha kwenye kipindi cha tasnia ya elimu. Na iwapo utanikosa madarasani, basi utanipata nyanjani nikisaka habari zenye usawa, ufasaha na ukweli. Na iwapo utanikosa nyanjani, bila shaka utanipata studioni hapa nikisoma habari na kuendesha mijadala mikomavu. Mimi ni Andrin Kilemi, mpenzi wa lugha ya Kiswahili na elimu kwa jumla.
The thing about coffee is it means different things to different people.
To some, it is what gets them going every day. The ability to transform groggy mornings into vibrant beginnings.
To others, it is a fuel that drives them through the day. The thing about coffee is that we like it differently. I love mine with a little bit of a sweetener.
And I love mine strong.
For me, the darker, the better.
The thing about coffee is it gives a platform for sharing news and reviews.
The best opportunity for a great conversation.
It is the perfect way to kickstart your day. And here, we serve it hot.
Welcome back to the Daily Report with me, Victor Moyakane. Now, on to business news. Investors in the capital markets will have almost 4 times the usual compensation in case of intermediary collapses. This is according to a new move by the CMA to reduce risk in the capital markets. Look, of course, this new move is, of course, pushed by Luke Ombara, the policy director at the Capital Markets Authority, who says that despite an increase in volatility in the market indices, the market still aims to retain investor participation. Let's have a look.
The need to widen the scope of contributors to the Nairobi Security Exchange has emerged from the increased volatility of the 3 market indices.
We have many stakeholders within that space, and perhaps as a nation we need to see how we come together and, of course, see how do we approach our efforts.
NSE 20, NSE 25 and NASI slightly increased from 0.37%, 0.46% and 0.48% in the first quarter of 2023 to 0.40%, 0.47% and 0.64% in the second quarter of 2023 respectively. Due to this, the initial maximum payout has been proposed to quadruple from the initial 50,000 to 200,000. The CMA is also looking towards adjusting policies and modalities governing the markets to adjust to new trends such as carbon credit trade.
Kenya has the highest volume of carbon credits in Africa, estimated at around 24%. And when we had the COP27 in Egypt in November last year, His Excellency the President had made it very clear that the carbon markets is the next significant export for Kenya.
Hibak Said for TV47.
Now, architects want county governments to address the backlog of project approvals, which they fear is causing a long-term impact on the construction industry. The Architects Alliance of Kenya says that since the adoption of digital planning and development management system, unwarranted delays have plagued the industry, which is pushing some property developers to seek alternative and flawed ways of carrying out development outside of the statutory realm. Let's have a look.
The construction industry in Kenya has been plagued by mishaps and accidents that have threatened both lives and property. Over the past 5 years, over 87 building collapses have been recorded, especially during the rainy season. And in a bid to curb this, the government has turned to digitizing approval systems to keep better records of construction authorization. This has, however, been frowned upon by architects who say the system is riddled with issues that are causing delays and a worrying backlog.
Timely delivery of sustainable and affordable housing units requires that each component and player in the various stages of construction functions efficiently.
Furthermore, they say this is presenting a gap that is forcing developers to use unscrupulous means of construction to meet project deadlines.
Unfortunately, the system in recent months has been experiencing substantive and unexplainable challenges. These delays in the processing of development approvals has led to massive loss of revenue, jobs, investment opportunities, effectively making doing business in the county a nightmare.
They now want the government to fast-pay solutions to that effect. Hibak Said for TV47.